Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. And just like that, the fight is over. Some 186 congressmen ratified on the House plenary floor shortly before noon today, Tuesday, the election of Marinduque Lone District Representative Lord Alan Velasco as the new Speaker. The ratification, announced by Presiding Officer, Deputy Speaker and Abono Party List Representative Conrado Estrella III, finalized the ouster of Taguig Pateros Lone District Representative Alan Peter Cayetano the previous day at Celebrity Sports Plaza when the same number of Solons declared the Speaker's seat vacant. They subsequently elected the 42-year-old Velasco to the fourth highest position in the land at the Quezon City Country Club. Velasco was able to address the plenary as Speaker, his rival Cayetano finally vanquished. Acting as Majority Leader in the morning session, Pampanga 4th District Representative Rimpi Bondok clarified to Velasco that more than 186 of their colleagues had wanted to vote for him Monday. However, some Solons could not do so because of the difficulties caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Velasco and Cayetano had a term-sharing agreement for the speakership in the 18th Congress. Under the gentleman's agreement that was brokered by no less than President Duterte, Velasco would take over the leadership after Cayetano's 15th month as Speaker. Things turned ugly as the supposed transfer of power drew near, with both Solons splitting hairs as to what the exact date of the turnover should be. The session was suspended shortly after this as Velasco had to rush to a scheduled meeting at Malacanang with President Duterte and Cayetano.
We have more than 200 congressmen, almost a pure majority, that wish to have ratified you in person today in this hall, except that with the problems of COVID, with the restrictions to travel, with the difficulty in establishing internet connections, these votes are also part of the majority that you now lead.
To my dear colleagues, I am humbled for your support and trust for electing me as your Speaker of the House today.
After being seemingly outclassed by Taguig Pateros Representative Alan Peter Cayetano in a political game of chess not even 2 weeks ago, Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco now finds himself as the new Speaker in the 18th Congress. The Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan stalwart, a very young-looking 42-year-old, shared how one can find his or her higher calling by willingly facing uncertainty instead of comfort. Last September 30, then Speaker Cayetano, in an attempt to consummate his term-sharing pact with Velasco, offered to resign from the House's top post. Some 184 congressmen immediately voted to reject it, thereby keeping Cayetano at the helm, with the added bonus being able to flex the Speaker's numbers at that time. The House has 299 members, meaning the far more experienced Cayetano enjoyed the majority's support. However, the optics of President Duterte's frustration on the national budget under Cayetano's watch last week, coupled with the intervention of presidential daughter Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte over the weekend, helped sway House members toward Velasco's side as if a fresh start was in order. Tuesday was that start. Velasco previously held the chairmanship of the House Committee on Energy, both in the current Congress and in the previous 17th Congress. Suffice it to say that he has now stepped out of his comfort zone.
There comes a time in life that marks the destiny of an individual. This is one such time for this humble representation. There is a choice between simply coasting along a shoreline within one's comfort zone and launching into the deep to face uncertainty and dangers. Very often, the latter represents the fulfillment of a higher calling. For me, these verses from American poet Robert Frost sum up the sense of triumph that awaits one who chooses the road not taken. I shall be telling this to the side. Some are ages to ages hence. Two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled. And that's
Vice President Leni Robredo said on Monday night she always prays for President Rodrigo Duterte amid the coronavirus pandemic. The opposition leader revealed she constantly prays for wisdom for Duterte in an interview with G3 San Diego over Instagram. The country's top two leaders have repeatedly clashed over the government's supposed inadequate COVID-19 response. Robredo has openly criticized the administration's mishandling of the health crisis, citing the lack of a cohesive plan, poor contact tracing, and other missteps that resulted in the Philippines having the most number of COVID-19 cases among Southeast Asian countries. Duterte asked her not to add fuel to the fire as it would lead to destruction of the government. But Robredo said it is her duty as a Filipino to call out the lapses to improve the government's COVID-19 response. The construction of the entire 17.93 kilometer stretch of the much-awaited Skyway 3 project that will link southern and northern Luzon seamlessly has been completed. This was done ahead of the original October 31 scheduled completion following delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With Skyway 3, travel from SLEX to NLEX will now only take 20 minutes from around 3 hours previously. Magallanes to Balintawak will only take about 15 minutes, Balintawak to Eala also only 15 minutes, and Valenzuela to Makati in just 10 minutes. But San Miguel Corporation President and CEO Ramon S. Ang, however, said that the expressway cannot be open to the public just yet, as finishing works such as the proper curing of asphalt has been delayed by continuous and heavy rains. Apart from the Skyway 3, the company is also looking to deliver the northbound section of the Skyway extension, which provides additional lanes and connects the South Luzon Expressway to Skyway near Susana Heights and the Muntinlupa-Cavite Expressway by December this year. In Metro News, Valenzuela City to lift liquor ban and allow drinking inside resto bars. San Juan shortens curfew hours. And arresting beggars and amid pandemic, not an option, according to Mayor Isko. More from this report.
The local government of Valenzuela City will lift its liquor ban starting on October 15. Under the Liquor Regulation Ordinance, alcoholic drinks cannot be sold during curfew hours from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. The ordinance also bans the selling of alcoholic beverages to minor and pregnant women. The drinking of alcoholic beverages in public is also prohibited. Businesses and establishments are only allowed to sell a limited quantity of alcoholic beverages to its customers. The city government of San Juan has shortened its curfew hours. San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora wrote on his Twitter that effective today, the curfew in San Juan will be from 12 midnight to 5 in the morning. The local chief added that all health and safety protocols will remain in place and will be strictly enforced through our COVID-19 local ordinances and IATF resolution and directives. Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles had earlier said that curfew hours in Metro Manila can be gradually eased to allow businesses to extend operating hours and to let employees travel at ease. Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso said that arresting beggars on streets amid the coronavirus pandemic is not an option in the capital city. Dumagoso said he would rather rescue and take care of them in the city government's facilities. The city mayor was reacting to the order of Interior Local Government Undersecretary Martin Dino to apprehend street dwellers because they may be spreading the virus. In Manila, they are brought to city government's facilities where they are fed, bathed, and given medical checkups and shelter. The MDSW has also helped some rescue rescued individuals go back to their homes. The local chief said even street dwellers are members of society who deserve service from the government.
And here are the top news in other parts of the country. 15 fishermen rescued off the coast of Pangasinan. Cases of violence against women and children drop in Western Visayas. 2.4 million pesos shabu seized from construction worker in Davao City. More in this report.
15 fishermen were rescued by a foreign vessel in waters off Agna, Pangasinan on Sunday, October 11. According to the Philippine Coast Guard, FB Aqua Princess Pulang Araw started to be battered by big waves and capsized at midnight of October 7, about 87 nautical miles off Agno. Boat Captain Eddie Arino ordered 2 crew members to use the service boat and proceed to the nearest PCG station for help. They reached Barangay Cato on Sunday and reported the incident to the Coast Guard substation in Infanta. At around 12 noon Sunday, the Coast Guard reported that MV Kumano Maru, a foreign bulk carrier, rescued all 15 fishermen around 75 nautical miles west of Agno. For the first 9 months of the year, the Police Regional Office 6 has recorded a 35% drop in the number of cases of violence against women and children in Western Visayas. Around 824 cases were recorded from January to September 2020, significantly lower compared to the 1,268 cases recorded at the same period last year. Police Regional Office 6's Regional Women and Children Protection Desk attributed the restrictions of the quarantine measures against coronavirus disease to have decreased the number of cases. The liquor ban during the quarantine periods also attributed to the decrease of cases. Around 2.4 million pesos worth of illegal drugs was seized by security forces from a construction worker who tried to escape at a border checkpoint in Barangay Sirawan, Toril, Davao City on Monday afternoon. The suspect was identified as Ronnie S. Martinez, 25 years old, from Coronadal City. Authorities seized a total of 151 grams of illegal drugs with an estimated market value of 2.4 million pesos. Martinez is now detained at the Toril Police Station, while a case against him is being readied for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002.
In world news, Trump tosses mask to crowd at first rally since COVID-19 diagnosis. At least 18 people died, dozen missing after a flash flood in Vietnam. And Kim Jong-un shows tearful side during a military parade speech in North Korea. Let's watch this report.
U.S. President Donald Trump takes his stage in Sanford, Florida, himself maskless, and throws red mask out into the audience instead of the usual Make America Great Again baseball caps. Trump has repeatedly downplayed the role of masking containing the virus spread and was hospitalized with the coronavirus last week. He wanted to show he can defy the pandemic and his seemingly plummeting chances of beating Democratic candidate Biden alike. He boasted he is immune and feels so powerful. Meanwhile, U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden addresses the start of the confirmation hearing for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett at a campaign event in Cincinnati, Ohio. He asked, why do so many Republicans today have time to hold a hearing on the Supreme Court, with 22 days left to go, instead of providing significant economic recovery and needs for the people who are hurting so badly. At least 18 people died and more than a dozen are missing after floods submerged homes in central Vietnam and rough seas capsized fishing boats as another storm threatened fresh downpours, authorities said. More than 100,000 homes have been submerged in floods and nearly 46,000 people evacuated. The military staged a dramatic helicopter rescue of 8 fishermen who had been swept away by rough seas off Quang Tri province. Vietnam is frequently lashed by harsh weather in the rainy season between June and November, with central coast areas most vulnerable. At a weekend military parade where North Korean leader Kim Jong-un showed off Pyongyang's latest and largest intercontinental ballistic missiles, Kim's voice trembled momentarily as he spoke of tears of gratitude for his people's efforts. He also became emotional and apologetic. He repeatedly and effusively thanked the citizens and military for their loyalty and for remaining healthy in the face of the global coronavirus pandemic, which he insisted had not caused a single case in the north. The camera cut away after Kim lauded volunteers who helped with disaster recovery efforts, returning to show him laying down a handkerchief and putting his glasses back on as if he had been wiping his eyes.
In entertainment, Korean boy band BTS delivered a world-class and record-breaking virtual concert over the weekend. Big Hit Entertainment says the Map of the Soul on E! Online concert reached a global audience of at least 993,000 fans around the world watching simultaneously, breaking their own world record in the same year. The agency, however, is yet to release an official revenue declaration. Not only was BTS able to break world records, but they were also able to deliver a world-class show with a perfect mix of creativity, fashion, design, and choreography, boosted by the most advanced technology available. Over in sports, Pinay tennis star Alex Eala's spectacular run in the juniors tournament of the 2020 French Open in Paris, France, has catapulted her to number 2 in the latest junior ITF World Rankings. Eala's number 2 spot is the highest ever accomplished by a Filipina tennis player in the history of the sport. The 15-year-old tennis prodigy and Globe ambassador stood tall in Roland Garros by showing grit and determination despite playing more experienced opponents and coming from behind to win and advance in the semifinals. Eala's run for a first-ever single Grand Slam title was cut short by eventual winner and local bet Els Jacquemont in the semis, but not after garnering enough points to rise from number 4 to number 2 in the world rankings with 2,148.75 points. She trails Jacquemont by just 112.5 points for the top spot in the world. The French Open Junior champion sits on top of the rankings with 2,261.25 points. And those are the news on Web today, October 13, 2020. It's 73 days before Christmas. For more news and details, get your copy of Manila Bulletin newspaper tomorrow or log on to www.mb.com.ph, or you may also subscribe to our newsletter through the link on this video's caption to have the day's latest news delivered to your inbox. I am Barbie Atienza for Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Join us again tomorrow. This has been MB Now. Be fully informed.